Hey everybody. Did you know that planet Earth, our sun, our entire solar system is not from the Milky Way galaxy? No, neither did I. Do I sound crazy? I think I sound crazy. Let me explain. My brother Greg sent me this great video today. Instead of trying to describe the shock at what I've just learned from this video, I'm just going to play you a short 5-minute clip from the video with a link to the full 59-minute video down below.
Let's take a little bit of a look at where we are. Right now we know that we're in the Milky Way galaxy, and that little tiny dot with that circle is our sun and our solar system. Now, let's analyze what we've seen what we've been taught. Let's analyze what's really going on. Scientists now know that we are not from here. Okay? We meaning our entire solar system. We are the aliens, okay? Let's really analyze this. Imagine the shock of growing up in a loving family with people you call mom and dad, and then suddenly learning that you are actually adopted. This same sense of shock came as scientists announced that the sun, the moon, our planet, and its siblings were not born into the familiar band of stars known as the Milky Way galaxy, but we actually belong to a strange formation with an unfamiliar name of the Sagittarius Dwarf Galaxy. We are from another galaxy. Earth is really a spaceship. We have, not in the sense of a metallic object, but an actual biological object. We've traveled as two galaxies have merged. Using volumes of data from the 2-micron all-sky survey, a major project to survey the sky in infrared light led by the University of Massachusetts, the astronomers are answering questions that have baffled scientists for decades and proving that our own Milky Way is consuming one of its neighbors in a dramatic display of ongoing galactic cannibalism. The study published in the Astrophysical Journal is the first to map the full extent of the Sagittarius galaxy and show its vivid detail, how its debris wraps around and passes through our Milky Way galaxy. Sagittarius is 10,000 times smaller in mass than the Milky Way, and so it's getting stretched out, torn apart, and gobbled up by the bigger Milky Way. So we are from the Sagittarius Dwarf Galaxy, and this type of thing happens all the time, believe it or not. Galaxies collide and form bigger and bigger galaxies. A lot of people don't know that. Our galaxy is relatively small compared to some of the galaxies out there. Let's take a quick look at the Sagittarius Dwarf Galaxy and how it's wrapping around on this computer model. Thanks to the University of Virginia. This is a model showing here. You see that as gravitationally as the Sagittarius has been pulled apart and wrapped around, where it dives down into the Milky Way, you see exactly the point of intersection. You see that yellow dot? That's our sun. That's our sun right there. Okay? So a lot of people have probably never heard of this, but we're from the Sagittarius Dwarf Galaxy. This is public, peer-reviewed, scientific data, okay? Not something that somebody just decided to make up. This is real data, guys. So, aliens, welcome. The next time you meet somebody and you say, have you ever seen an alien, and they shake your hand, just say, nice to meet you. We're all aliens. We're not from here, okay? That's why I think borders are a joke. All right? Now, a new infrared digital survey of the entire sky was made in 2003. Teams from the University of Virginia and Massachusetts used a supercomputer to sort through half of the billion stars to create a new star map showing our solar system, which is the yellow circle that you just saw, to be the exact nexus crossroads where the two galaxies are actually joining. It's clear who the bully is in the interaction, says Stephen Majewski, University of Virginia professor of astronomy and lead author on the paper describing the results. Again, very credible people here putting this information out. This is not a guy that woke up in a robe and slippers on a prepaid phone and decided to post this information online. This is real scientific data, okay? If people had infrared sensitive eyes, the entrails of the Sagittarius would be a prominent fixture sweeping across our night sky, Majewski said. But at human visual wavelengths, they become buried in the countless intervening stars and obscuring dust. The great expanse of the Sagittarius system has been hidden from view. So, guys, this is an amazing discovery. I didn't know about this myself until about 4 years ago. And when I first started talking about it, people thought I was nuts and telling me I was crazy and everything else. I didn't have enough data, that I could pull together to put it all into one simple presentation. Now I do, which I'm very pleased that they've been able to get a lot of this information out. But this is a very important piece of information to understand that we ourselves aren't from here, because you start to understand what happens when planets become rogue and they go out there and they float through space, like we're talking about Planet X, Nibiru, and all these other planets. And people go, oh, it can't be, it's impossible. Well, we ourselves are a result of a collision. Now, just like atoms are mostly empty space, believe it or not, galaxies are mostly empty space. The distances are so far and vast that they typically pass through one another or coalesce together with very, few collisions happening, but collisions do happen. But for the most part, a lot of the orbits will be switched around because of gravitational pull and so forth and so on. But this happens all the time. It's nothing that to be shocked about, now that we've started studying it. The fact that the Milky Way is seen in the sky at an angle has always puzzled astronomers. If we originated from the Milky Way, we ought to be oriented to the galaxy's ecliptic, with the planets aligned around our sun in much the same angle as our sun aligns with the Milky Way. Instead, as first suggested by researcher Matthew Perkins Irwins, the odd angle suggests our sun is influenced by some other system. Our sun is influenced by some other system. This is very important to understand, because we're going to be getting into binary solar systems here in a second.
So it seems that mainstream science has known, or heavily suspected, whichever you want to call it. Does science really ever know anything? They have suspected very convincingly for over 10 years, for more like 15 years, that our solar system is not part of the Milky Way galaxy, that it's actually a part of the Sagittarius dwarf galaxy, which has collided with the Milky Way galaxy, which is gobbling up our little tiny Sagittarius dwarf galaxy. And NASA came out in October 2017 and said that they suspect that there's a very large planet. It could be Nibiru, right? They didn't call it Nibiru. They called it a 9th planet because they downgraded Pluto in 2006 to a dwarf planet. And then they went and found a whole bunch of dwarf planets out there about the size of Pluto, right? No, they're talking about a trans-Neptunian object way past Neptune, very large, that could be tilting and tugging on our solar system, because we are tilted at a plane not in the same level with the Milky Way galaxy. We are being kind of sucked down a little bit. I think it's 6 or 7 degrees, but you'll have to check out that press release that I'll put in the links. I did a video on it a while ago. And then there's the speculation that there's a binary twin sun out there, and that it's coming closer with all of its own planets, which would include like a Nibiru, or a red Kachina, blue Kachina, Nemesis for our binary twin sun. That's been a name that's been suggested. So there's all this speculation that something big is getting closer and is having such a gravitational effect, pull or tug, on not only our planet, but our entire solar system, that we're going through some really incredible geological and geophysical changes. For instance, the magnetic North Pole migrating about 100 miles south per year, last spotted somewhere over Siberia and headed for the middle of the Pacific Ocean. Increased plate tectonics, increased volcanoes and earthquakes and tsunamis. What else is happening? Oh, all planets in our solar system are heating up and becoming much more luminous. There's other changes to the Schumann resonance, spiking wildly day by day. Increased cosmic radiation found at ground level. Our magnetic shield breaking up and scattering decade after decade more and more over the past 40 years. And that could also account much more easily for the Mandela effect than trying to attribute it to a few guys in a white lab jacket over at CERN or with D-Wave. You know, they're just not that powerful to change not only the fabric of reality of Earth, but the fabric of reality for the entire solar system and the entire galaxy. You know, they're taking far too much credit, and actually they haven't taken credit for it. It's people just speculating, trying to figure out what's causing the Mandela effect, who have given them credit for it. But they have never come out and said, hey guys, we did this, we caused the Mandela effect, we are manipulating and changing matter all around us here. No, they've never done that. But something as incredible and as spectacular as two galaxies colliding, why couldn't that cause the Mandela effect and all of these other changes that we're starting to pick up on? Now, the interesting thing is, according to this talk, the research has been out there since around 2003. But the powers that were, you know, we're not going to call them the powers that be anymore, the powers that were, won't tell us. They don't let us know what they know when they know it. You know, maybe because they're afraid of mass panic, that suddenly we wouldn't want to eat or live in a house or, you know, pay for gasoline in our cars. We would stop working, we would panic, and then they wouldn't get all of their money. You know, they rely on us for their extreme wealth. So, you know, keep the minions and the sheeple dumb. Don't let them know that we are in a different galaxy that's colliding with a much bigger one, because then they might panic, then they don't go to work, and then we don't get our yachts and 5 houses around the globe and private jets and stuff like that. Okay, so I'm being a little bit negative about the ruling elite, but how can you not be, right? So the point is, there's got to be a reason why they don't tell us this as they discover it, why it's all hushed up, all secrets now, which has led to the public, us, not believing a word they say anymore, because we know they lie to us, and we know that they lie through omission, which means not telling you the whole truth. So I'm going to research this. I just bumped into this video tonight and I was flabbergasted. How's that for a big word? Chin on the floor, mouth open wide, going, what? Are you kidding me? Are you telling me that mainstream scientists at universities have determined that we are on a tiny little rogue galaxy called the Sagittarius Dwarf Galaxy, and we're just passing through the Milky Way? And of course, what kind of geological, geophysical effects would that have? Not only on rocks around us, but our consciousness, our minds. Of course, if everything is getting pulled and tugged by nearby solar systems that apparently don't belong to our little galaxy. They belong to the bigger galaxy that we're just visiting, right? The Milky Way. And as we get closer and closer to them, they start pulling and tugging, and the gravity not only upsets the atoms of the matter, but that unbelievable force of gravity is also upsetting the structure of consciousness, which isn't measured in atoms. It's expanding our minds. I've always held that the Mandela effect is simply an expanded awareness of how matter works, of how, you know, the collective consciousness decides how things are out there. And then when enough people disagree on how things are supposed to be, the sky is blue, the grass is green, then matter responds to that. And that has been demonstrated through the 100th monkey theory, or the 100th monkey effect. So I'm not going to make this a long video, but this is really important. This is crucial. This is key information. And you know what? We need to be on a planet that has, of course, a #1 rule. First, do no harm, right? So that we're compassionate and cooperative. And then secondly, no more secrets. If you know something's happening to the fabric of our reality due to our position in a little galaxy being consumed by a bigger galaxy, tell us. Tell us. We're not going to panic and stop living our lives. You know, that's the problem, is that all of this is in the hands of so few. And those so few are so greedy that just like the Milky Way galaxy is gobbling up our tiny little floating rogue Sagittarius dwarf galaxy, the ruling elite are trying to gobble up all of the information and keep it to themselves. And it's not going to work. Okay? The truth will out. We are going to know one way or another, and we're going to know eventually. So I am like really, really voting for no more secrets. We need to, as humanity, get a hold of this planet and rule it in a cooperative, open, fair, just system where information is shared amongst all human beings. If it impacts humanity, then every human being automatically has a right to that information. I don't know how we get from where we are now to the world that I'm describing, but hey guys, it starts with us. It literally starts with us. We are the beginning of the new earth and the new world. Okay, much love, everybody.